Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Basement Quality Banter episode 68. Our senior citizen, newly crowned today, is off gallivanting. I think he's at the Babs night, the Brisbane Amateur Beer Brewers. They've got a Belgian evening on, so he's definitely there. Good evening, Caesar.
Evening, Luke. How you going?
Yeah, good, mate.
Still feeling young?
Yeah. Did you have you got a beverage?
I do. I like to ask you a question. Do you hate wind chimes?
I don't hate wind chimes.
Apparently, Lockie does.
Yes.
I froth FAF number 7.
Lovely.
So I didn't get to show it off last week. So
I took a photo of mine in front of my wind chime out the back. But I've got one of the bamboo and coconut shell ones, so it's a different sound. I like that.
Yeah, it's a bit softer.
But I think the FAF number 7, I think it's the best one yet.
It's fantastic, isn't it? All that tea bagging, worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a cracker of a drop. I stumbled across. I've got the Bent Spoke Cluster 12. I saw an ad for the Cluster 8, so I jumped online because I'd missed the Descent 12 earlier in the year, and they had a limited run of the Cluster 12s, which is a 12% triple IPA. Oh, lovely faff there.
Fantastic.
Very clean glass.
Yeah.
So my Cluster 12, it's sort of got that real sweet malty, not over the top hop bitterness, but you know those really big beers, the triples like that, they get that sort of sweet barley wine-esque sort of undertone.
Yep.
It's really nice. You wouldn't think it's 12, but it's, what would I say, 3.6 standards in a drink, in a can.
One of those ones with the barley wines, you don't think it's 12, but as soon as I taste the barley wine, you know it's going to be strong.
Yeah. And how would you describe your faff? Your teabagged?
Actually, it's really nice. It's really smooth, actually. So for something it's still pretty big. So what's he packed into it? 2.5 standards or so. 7.2%. Doesn't taste like that. I do get that grassiness back end. Maybe it's a little cold at the moment too, but I have had a couple earlier, and yeah, I'm rating this. This is just smells brilliant.
Yeah, it's an absolute cracker. I don't know what I have to do to get Lockie to brew a red IPA or a black IPA, though. They've got to be on the list.
There was news today on that.
Oh,
not necessarily the 5, the 7, but the 6. He has posted that he's got a keg sitting in a pub tonight, or was today, because it went on last night. Will run out. One keg only will run out when it runs out. I had to actually need to make a note of where it was.
Very cool. So yeah, in this drop, I've got Cascade, Centennial, Chinook, Simcoe, Mosaic, and NZ 109. I've had Cluster 8. I don't think I've had Cluster 12 before, so that's really nice from Bent Spoke. Yeah. So in beer news, following on from last week's potty with Ian, I did purchase my tickets to the Fortitude Valley Beer Hall. Should be fun. I'm taking my wife, who's looking forward to a Rauch beer. There's definitely one from Slipstream. I think there's another one that they're going to Schlenkerla there as well. So definitely coming along to that one. Are you going to be around, Caesar?
I feel like I am away. It's the end of September, and I think I'm camping, or it's the grand final weekend. One of the two.
26, I think.
Yeah.
My next story from last weekend, Frothtown took place over in Perth, and from all the images I've seen and people who travelled from the East Coast over there, it looks like a really good event. It wasn't just beer. There were lots of other drinks as well. There were tattooists, there were body piercers, the music. it looked like a really well put together event. Everyone was having the big dildo glasses poured for them. It looked like everyone had a really good time at that one.
Fantastic. Yeah, I've seen a bit come up. All the news come this week has basically been around the FAF and all the stuff and going on out there and people going out and enjoying the festival and stuff. Been really positive news coming out of it.
Yeah.
So it's not been too bad at all.
WA, sort of the forefront of Australian beer. They've had a craft scene there, and they're quite isolated, so they do quite well at everything that we like.
Yeah.
So the beer championship finalists have been announced. This is the new comp where they have all the finalists and they run a campaign before the awards are actually listed. I'll go through them. So Australia, it got reduced to six categories. Australian lager. So you have Biceno, a brewing from Tassie. Now I'm not sure if it's Biceno or Biceno. Albi Beer Farm Deep Elite from WA. Great Northern Original, which I thought was quite interesting. For a big mass-produced lager that's not all grain, I thought that was interesting. And the Traveller, the Travis Fimmel full-strength lager. In lager, which is obviously not Australian lager, CB Co, Bright Brewery, Eagle Bay Brewing, Biceno again, Devil Bend, and Love Shack. And then Australian Pale, Slipstream, Bolter, Other Side, Filter, Bent Spoke, and Big Little Brewing. So there's some familiar names there. In Pale, Tar Barrel, CB Co again, Blackman's, Biceno again, and Bruley Brewhouse. Now remember, these breweries could only do 5 beers for the comp. So in IPA, there was Urban Alley, Mountain Goat, Moo Brew, Slipstream again, Ripple Brewing, and Margaret River. In Dark, there was Blackman's again, Little Creatures, which I thought was really cool, the Little Creatures White Rabbit. Stomping Ground, Ether, up from here from Queensland, Slipstream again, from up here, Midda Brewing as well. And in lower alcohol, there was Shambles, Albi, Grain Fed, Gage Roads, Love Shack again, and Shambles. So there was quite a few repeat breweries that have made it into the finals out of all of them. So they really did pick their 5 entries really well. And they've come from all around the country too. You got Tassie, WA, Queensland. There's a bit of everything in there. But this Biceno Brewing, please let me know how to pronounce. It's from the town of Biceno or Biceno. 3 of its beers into the finals out of the possible 5 that they sent, as well as Slipstream. Great Northern's still a surprise for me. Do you have any thoughts on the beer championships so far?
Well, you're talking about Aether, and I did see this week that they're still brewing out of the old place, but I think they're moving soon. So it's a good effort from them, to considering that they're sort of in limbo a little bit at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's been really, really good. I find it hard to why they would pick. I suppose at the end of the day, it's blind tasting, and it is what it is, and maybe it's just how it travelled that the Great Northern did so well.
Yeah.
But saying that, for those that don't know, the first year of the Queensland Beer Awards, VB won. So
that was the old format. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and look, they could have got a good batch of Great Northern. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Great Northern. It's just I don't think it has a big characteristic. But it'll be interesting to see how far that goes.
Yeah, it could also just be that the style guidelines dictate that it's more towards a Great Northern or whatever, and maybe they just need to sort their guidelines out a bit better. If you
remember that their judging's completely different too. It's there's like a sliding scale, and there was a whole spreadsheet of how much you enjoyed it and things like that. So it's a whole different type of competition. And what is good though is the multinationals have jumped in to put a couple of entries in, like Little Creatures and Great Northern. So that's good for the competition. But that'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Also, another event that we had just over the last weekend was Beervana in New Zealand. We had a few people I know jump over to UNZAD, and they said it was quite small. It was a lot smaller, like it originally was, but they liked it because it was more intimate.
There must be a little bit going on there, because I saw something about New World. I wasn't sure if it's the same or not. New World had a whole heap of the best breweries around New Zealand, so I don't know if it follows on from that. I'm not really too sure what's going on with Beervana though. Yeah.
And that's about all I had for beer news. Did you have any other?
I had a couple of things, and as I talk, and I know, we basement quality, we keep it pretty simple, but we sort of give each other a bit of an idea what we're talking about. I've just remembered, and I've followed up on a post I saw today. So the big one is there's been an issue with Mouseproof Brewing in Toowoomba. The landlords effectively kicked them out.
Yep.
So their last trading day at the old venue is this Saturday. So they're they've got to vacate this historic building by then. After that, and they've got to find a new home. So we'll see what happens there.
I used to know the head brewer there, and I actually did the TAFE course with him. And he's now moved on to, I think he works for corrections now. And I went up there a couple of times to Toowoomba, and it's in the old dairy factory there. But all the piping and everything was still inside, and it was a pretty rudimentary kit that they were running. It was quite small, but it was quite popular. People liked it, but there was a lot of council fighting with what they were trying to do there. And I know that's been a couple of years in the making. They tried to accommodate. They moved entries. They moved entertainment. They changed hours. They really tried to accommodate. And it's fairly it's a sort of an abandoned factory and nowhere near a residential area. So I don't see what the issue was, but I don't know. They might be able to find something, but there was something good about that venue with all the old piping and the whole old factory sort of part to it that sort of gave it a bit of character.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think I've been there as once or twice, and really, really cool little place there. So sad to see it move away from there, but at the end of the day, it's a good place to drink, but it's it's what they brew is what really will drive people there. So So we'll see how we go. Side note, it's Gilbert Street is where Faff is on, and it is the number 7 actually. There's a keg of number 7.
Okay.
Yeah, old school AF IPA, Gilbert Street Hotel. So went on last night until it runs out. So if you're down there and you listen to the thing tonight when Luke drops it in an hour, hopefully you can get out there and get some. I'm assuming it's be gone by then, but first come, first serve, I guess. So it's all good. And what I was saying earlier with the beer, the festival, it's the grand final weekend, so I might actually be able to go. So particularly if the old Lions don't make it through the finals, but we'll talk about that later, I guess.
I think they'll get there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually really confident they'll get to the big dance at least. So. But with my news is I had a lot about the froth and whatnot. But the only other thing that came up really is I don't really know, but for some reason the Forbes in America did an article on cream ale is making a bit of a comeback. So it's a bit of like an old school American style, the cream ale, and some breweries are starting to bring it back. So interesting to know whether how the trends will cross the Pacific, whether we will follow those sort of trends, or if it's because that's sort of what happened with the salsas and stuff. Hey, it started in the US and it sort of moved out here a bit, and
we sort of follow the US a bit, maybe like 6 months down the track sort of thing in most ways. More recently, other drink fads have been quicker. You think of, Buzzballs and your White Claws and things like that. They were pretty quick to get over here. But yeah, cream ales have been around for ages. Oat cream ales, we call them. Oat cream with the K. If you're a member of that Instagram group, or sort of make fun of the brewing industry, which is classic, and they make fun of us too, so that's always good. Look, they're sweeter, they're smoother. Sometimes there's lactose in them. It's an interesting one. For their market is so much different. Because they're not taxed on ABV. You can easily go in and get 9-10% IPAs, 3 or 4 on tap all the time. So this might be an adjustment to that to soften some of those big flavors that they can have. So
also the article was talking about how it was sort of used because it ferments faster. So apparently it's good to get it through for breweries to try and compete against those bigger breweries. And so you put one of these in and it doesn't tie up a tanker for as long.
Well, you're not lagering it, and it's got more, and it's obviously got more fermentables, so that makes sense. Yeah. And it's sort of a shortcut for a hazy presentation of a beer as well.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Always interesting. It's always interesting to see where styles are heading. So maybe we might see that coming through. I mean, you never know too. Like someone goes, "Oh, look, I went to the States and I tried this," and then someone gives it a go or whatever, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
did you have any more beery news?
Not really. I wasn't overly prepared today. I did mention the New World Beer and Cider Awards, and that's the reason why I brought it up before with the other thing. I wasn't sure if it clashed with yours. But apparently, the beer this is in New Zealand, so the standout entries for this year were like a Zephyr Bramble Spritz, Pickenham Boysen Cider, Beer Baroness Queer Bear Hazy IPA, and an altitude built for speed West Coast IPA. So among some of the awards that went through, and then they talked. Yeah, you're right.
I was just going to say altitude often do a lot of awards, and I just remember Zephyr years ago had a spiced apple cider that was amazing. But I haven't seen them out here for a while.
Yeah, and then they on the actual website they also just did a bit of a thing too, based on good for, which I think is not a bad idea for some competitions. And what they did is they sort of listed on their site the breweries for the region. So they've gone into like Auckland region, they have Vermouth, Steinlager, 8 Wide, and Epic. So good to sort of tackle going into if you're going those areas. That's what you can look for. Tanaki region, just the Three Sisters. And then you can go into Wanaka and Hawke's Bay, and you can go to Lakeman, Zephyr, like you're talking, or Brave Brewing. And then Wellington, they had Panhead, Garage Project, Parrot Dog, and Duncan's.
Yeah, that's the sort of craft beer capital, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Like there's some big names that come through that make it across the Tasman.
The Dutch. Across the
Yeah,
Dutch.
and I'm definitely like looking at these, going, "Hey, I'd like to try some of these ones, the ones I don't know." And like South, they also had some South Island brewers and cider makers, some Peckhams, which I know about, but I didn't know about Altitude or Rhyme and Reason from Warnaco. And I've been to Warnaco and I don't remember it. And Queenstown's always good for a. We always seem to end up in Queenstown. I think so if you want to go skiing, that's where you go.
Yeah. No. New Zealand field trip is definitely on the cards when this potty starts making some coin, definitely. So on to sports.
Yes.
So it's going to be a quick one tonight because we don't have Angus doing his beautiful around Australia or around the world, and we don't have a brewery for our Guesser brewery, but we'll make up for it next week. So the FIA Battery Management World Championship returned last week to Sandfort for the last time. The organisers did the maths, and they are one of the only non-state backed events, and they just couldn't get the numbers to add up. I think they were also concerned. It looked like Max was possibly going to leave, and a lot of the support there is built around Max, and it was. They called it before he re-signed, which was I actually thought was quite interesting that he re-signed to 2030.
Well, they announced it on the weekend at Zandvoort.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great venue. Like if you ever look at it, right, it's an old school venue, right? So it's literally on the ocean. So it gets the ocean weather differences that come and go all day.
Yeah.
They build it in the sand dunes, so there's 8 meters of elevation, but it's epic elevations, and there's bank corners. It is such a good track.
Yeah.
For a relatively new this time around, but been around for quite a while, I love this track, and I love the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's disappointing to see it go.
Yeah. It is one of the best looking tracks, like just like you were saying, the undulations and everything. I did learn that part of the track was built by the Nazis, thinking it was going to be a parade route, which never came to pass. They needed they wanted to have a racetrack, and they actually sold the idea of it being a parade route, and it went from there. I'm still not a fan of the sprint races. I know everyone likes having more racing, but no one has ever won a sprint race this year and gone on to win the Grand Prix this year because the cars are set up differently. What I thought was really cool was Liam Lawson got another chance in the Red Bull. Yuki Tsunoda got to start in the Racing Bulls, and they both did really well. They beat their teammates, albeit that 6 cars didn't finish, and unfortunately one of those was Max for the sea of orange that was supporting him. Points for Alonso, which was cool, and Lando took the win before the 2 Mercedes. But the banked corners, the great passing opportunities, it is one of those really cool tracks. It's disappointing that it won't be around for quite a while. However, Madrid has had a fair bit of press this week, and it's got a couple of banked corners in a brand new track that they've got there. And we're off to Monza. Off to Monza for the next race.
Temple of Speed.
Yes. Off to, so that'll be really interesting. That'll be Kimi's home race, but they don't know if they're going to give him the engine penalty there because it's his home race, or he's going to take it at the next one. So that'll be really interesting as well.
They have to. Unfortunately, they have to. Monza is a power circuit.
Yeah.
If you don't have the power, there's no point.
You might have heard at the end of last week's podcast, Ian was a bit disappointed we didn't talk more F1 with him. I think we took up too much of his time. We're already over an hour at that stage, and we'd definitely welcome Ian back on to talk more F1. He was saying that he went to Monza last year, so big F1 fan, and we'll definitely get Ian on for some more F1 talk for sure.
I'm just happy to take his knowledge. I'm disappointed I missed out.
That was a great chat. It was really good. Yeah.
I was sitting there. I always sit there and rewatch it if I think if I haven't been on it, and afterwards and make notes and goes, oh, I wish, but that's all right. It was good.
So if you did watch that episode on YouTube, maybe about 15 minutes from the end, you might have seen Ian's screen was flashing up quite a bit. Turns out that was him emailing Rocky at the bar upstairs to get him another beer.
I saw the beer come down. That beer come down.
Yeah, and the Imperial Stout came down. We said hello to Rocky. And, after we finished recording, I said, did you email during the podcast for a beer to be delivered? And he said, yep, it worked.
That's why I have my phone here. So if I need to do that, I can. Just don't anyone get any ideas and ring me. So
yeah. No, it was absolutely an honour talking to Ian, and I could talk beer with him and pretty much every guest that we've had. I just love talking beer, so it's been really cool. In the 6 again comp, so it's up to the Dragons and Titans now to take the spoon, as the Broncos spoilt Josh Papali'i's Canberra farewell. The Warriors are looking the goods, and I would love them to take out the comp for the first time, honestly. And with the Southern Orcas making the announcement this week that they look like they'll be the 20th team, I want to share some love over to New Zealand. I did mention to Reese, who's become an NRL convert when we had him on, and I said, maybe you should go for the Warriors because we're closer to them than to you in Perth until the Bears come on next year. I thought it was. I'm keen for the Warriors to take it out. They deserve it, honestly.
Well, I'll have to say, because my team's the Broncos. After the Broncos are out, I'm all up the wires. 100%. No, look, it's just that team that everyone loves, and they're a fun team to watch, and that's probably why they're so. They haven't won yet, to be honest. Is it? They just go 100% and just go for all or nothing, and sometimes it pays off. And unfortunately, you've got to maintain that for 4 weeks in the finals. So it doesn't always work, but they are entertaining to watch, and they're just fun. I think they're everyone's second team, really. Because
I think the New Zealand supporters of the competition deserve to have it. They haven't had the taste of the grand final win, and they've been supporting Auckland through Super League, through now to the New Zealand Warriors. I think they deserve it for their support. How often does Eden Park get sold out? I'd really, really like to see them take it, and it feeds on to the Southern Orcas. They've got a really cool kit, template, and I think they'll be the 20th team. So
awesome.
That's where they want to cap it. 20 teams. Yep. I think that. My Tigers had some interesting factoids with both the men and women winning by a point in the same round, which hasn't happened before. And the men losing to last place, Dragons, 1 week, and then winning against the top team, the Roosters, which at the start of the week they were. That hasn't occurred since 1981. So you lose to the bottom, then you win against the top.
So it wasn't Parramatta, but it would have included Parramatta. I think 81's round when Parramatta were dominating.
So it was West lost to Balmain, who were last, and then West won against the Roosters, who were first.
There you go.
It was Roosters again.
Tommy Rodonigus.
Yeah.
Of course it was. My wife's a big fan of him because he's from Cowra, which is where she's from.
I do miss my Magpies. I know it's a joint venture. I don't know if they'll ever split, even though the Magpies are like 90% of the owners and everything. But yeah, I also love that the NRL is allowing Jai Arrow to be. He last night got in the South squad. For the South squad for the last 2 games to knock up his 100 starts. So basically,
this
lead
is
him
interesting.
out. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, keep going. Keep
I was just
going.
going to say, basically, he'll lead the team out as a captain, and there'll be a kickoff, and he'll get substituted, and the NRL's allowed an extra interchange for that to happen.
Mm.
I thought it was a really nice gesture. However, there's been heaps of negativity around it, opening the floodgates for other medically retired or injured players. And they've even called for Adam Reynolds to have the same thing for his last 2 games. Jai has MND. It has no cure and attacks aggressively. And we've seen in the last 6 months, it's affected his speech and his movement and everything like that.
Yeah,
I just think it was a
going
really good thing for the NRL to do, to give him his 100 games, let him run out, let him finish on a high. I don't know why there's so much negativity. I think it's just a really good gesture of the NRL and the competing teams, like against Titans, his own club, and things like that. They're all for it.
Yeah. And that's where I was going with the comments, is that it's interesting. It's like they had to change the rule to allow him to do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, and I can understand why people would complain in that literally they're kicking off but then blowing time immediately. Well, no, they're not kicking off. They're blowing time, and then they're stopping it effectively, and then he walks off and then they kick. Is that right? Or is it the other way
No.
around? They kick and then they call time off.
No time off. They kick and then he just gets subbed off
No,
the
there's
side.
definitely no. So they're there. So that's yeah. So apparently that's where it was. Apparently they were stopping the play for him to come off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know
Yeah.
they didn't want him to be tackled, and there was no way that anyone would tackle him anyway.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Let him run out. Let him
Yeah.
be the captain
No.
for his last 2 games.
I understand completely why they're doing it, and it makes sense. There is a few. Yeah, it's good that they're allowing the extra player, and it could probably be. It could probably be something that could potentially be exploited down the track without context. But I think at the moment they're doing it for the right reason.
Yeah.
I'm just worried that when they forget why Dry Arrow did 2 plays and they did this and they changed the rule for this reason, that someone else does it like it's look, I'm going to get to 400 games and I want to play 2 games. And
But I think it's just an exception for these 2 games. It's not they haven't rewritten the rules. And
well,
look,
they slightly did, but yeah.
But Adam Reynolds, like he's retiring. He's not retiring medically retired.
No.
No. Yeah. The poor bugger has been so injury prone at the Broncos. When he's there and he's on, brilliant. But that was been he's had a long career, and put him on the bench or something to knock up his numbers or something.
Look, I would say the same thing would happen again. Like it's happened for other things. Like for example, after the Black Weekend for F1s when Senna and Ratzenberger died, the following race I think was in Brazil. I can't remember where it was, and they left the pole and the second free, so the front row free for those 2. So they have done it. And effectively, that's a start, or it was not a start, but it was effectively they qualified first.
Yeah.
Ceremonially, so it can be happening. It's good. It's just a great thing that the NRL doing, and it raised awareness too, which is the important point. And not just that, this has transcended NRL because they had a thing where they did the arrow as a celebration.
Yes.
And this has gone to rugby. It's gone to surfing.
Yeah.
It's been in everything when people have done, so they've celebrated by doing the arrow to really. Yeah. It's been a fantastic tribute to Dry Arrow.
Yeah. Well, originally, there was a sponsor, and every try that was scored, if you did the arrow, they'd donate $1,000 to research or something like that. And that's finished. And not only are people still doing it, like you said, other sports are doing it. And keep it up. And the more money we raise and awareness, the more chance that we've got to fight what is an absolute awful affliction.
100%.
On more positive, how's the AFL?
The AFL has been good to me. So we've finished the season, all the regular rounds. Traditionally, they would have a week off this week and then play like tonight. There's a Legends game, so they'll play like a Legends game tonight, and the girls have started playing, so it'll be a big thing on the girls, which is fantastic to see.
Yep.
But what they've done this year is they've expanded the final series to a American football style finals. So they've gone to 10 teams in the finals with 10 to 7. Are all playing in a wild card round this weekend. And the winners of that will then play 5 and 6 next week. And then the top 4 teams, which the Lions managed to get into, will play the winners play for a week off. The losers play the winners of the 5-6.
Yeah.
But it's been quite interesting to get into. So the Lions had a massive win against Collingwood, which is fantastic. And they played Friday night, and then we had to wait all the way to Sunday night for Hawthorn, who were fourth or third at the start of the weekend, to play West Coast, who are at the bottom. And the Lions had such a big win against Collingwood that the Hawthorn had to win by 90 points or more, depending on, because it's percentage. So if basically 90 points if West Coast scored nothing, and then it goes up from there. It was a very, very tight thing. And then luckily the Lions, they started really well, actually. They were spot on early. And it could have been dangerous, and the Lions could have been finishing 4th, which is dangerous because you come back to the Wars, the top team at the moment is Fremantle. And Fremantle have also been in since about 95 and have not won yet.
Yep.
So they're the sentimental favourites, and they've just won every they've only had like 3 losses for the year. It's ridiculously well.
Yeah.
So no one wanted to play them, particularly in Perth. And then it came down to the third quarter, the rain hit and to stop the Hawthorn from scoring. So Brisbane finishing 3rd, which is really good because Sydney have been in the news for all the wrong reasons.
For all the wrong reasons.
The wrong reasons. They're very, very naughty boys. Sounds like they had almost what you'd call an impromptu bucks party at the hotel after the game.
Yep.
And someone or several started touching inappropriately or whatever more. Who knows? I wasn't in that room. I can't tell you. Allegedly did some not nice things, and they've been reported to the police.
Yeah.
And so 5 players have been stood down for the rest of the season, and there's some 5 very good players, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Look, the culture obviously isn't in the right place. The only thing with sports players, they are guilty until proven innocent.
Yep.
But in saying that, there is a young men with money and alcohol and drugs and sporting and all that. There's issues there too, and I am not going to defend them at all. It is what it is.
I will say this is not just like an AFL. It's happened in NRL. It happens actually really, really badly in the NFL. So I play a lot of fantasy football in the NFL, which I can gladly talk about tonight. I'm currently in the middle of one. I had one on Friday. Let's not talk about that. And one of the girls in particular doesn't like to pick anyone who has had some sort of assault or domestic violence charges, and she finds it really difficult to draft sometimes because. And now, this is 32 teams. So there's a lot of people, a lot of choice, with a lot of positions. 50-player rosters or whatever, and they have a ridiculous number of dumb decisions made by these players.
Yeah. And we'll have a couple of teams at the MCG in a couple of weeks too.
Yeah, well, that's its own issue. Yeah. So, because obviously Collingwood finished 6th or 5th. Oh, they finished low enough that they're not entitled to the home game, but the MCG is a home game, and the Western Bulldogs, who finished ahead of them, their home game's at Marvel, but I think they're playing at the MCG. Yeah. And then Collingwood also got to train at Marvel when those teams don't normally get to train there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. They think 100,000 people for the NFL game.
Be awesome.
It's an official NFL match.
Round 1.
Yep. They've done a few other countries, but this is first time in Australia. It should be interesting. I think the players are looking forward to it. They're not looking forward to the travel, apparently.
No, I think because it's round 1, they'll get here nice and early, acclimatise and whatnot. Then they'll have a long break because they normally traditionally play Sunday. This will be a Thursday night game, effectively. And they will private travel as well. So I dare say they'll just take a Boeing, like a big, or an A380, something huge, and just take the whole plane and just do. If you've ever watched World Cup qualifiers, particularly the Australian teams, it's all about the recovery between the games because you play on both home teams, so it'd be similar to that. They just have to travel. But yeah, you're right. It's like they play every year in London. That's always a good match. Usually at Tottenham, they've got a really good setup for that. Play Mexico. We'll play in Brazil a lot of the time as well.
Yeah.
So
that'd be good to see. Yeah.
The big thing to note, though, it is actually a smaller ground than NRL, so it's going to look like it's going to be tiny on the MCG when you consider how much. Yeah.
It's not going to look right, but anyway. And the last one I had was cricket. So more sport than beer this week. So cricket has started early with 2 matches against Bangladesh in small regional locations. They flogged us in Darwin by 9 wickets, which is a wake-up call. However, in Mackay, Mitch Stark bowled a 6 for 12 in the first innings, and that set up a rebound with an innings and 51-run win. And it's the 4th lowest winning ever total, ever. Australia has now 3 of the top 4, and we are the recipients of one against England in 18 something or other. Look, it's a drawn series. To be honest, I don't think they really. I don't think they really marketed it well.
No.
People didn't know it was happening. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of everything. Like Australia hasn't played for 8 months.
Yeah.
They've got Ashes coming up, and this is probably the start of that, which is why they probably haven't played. But saying that, though, there's still T20 around the world and that sort of stuff. And that's one of the reasons why they played up above the Tropic of Capricorn, because they needed to be in where the grass actually grows, because they need the grass to grow to make the pitches. Yep. So obviously, it had to be Darwin and Mackay. So for the way it works, and obviously, all the oval stadiums are taken by AFL at the moment for everyone else. So but the big problem out of there is the Marnus Lavisha's form at the moment. But I mean, you can't really rely off 2 games and whatnot and see what happens.
Well, I was still surprised that they picked Cam Green, because he's been shocking the last couple of years.
Yeah.
he did all right.
Hmm.
And Steve Smith flew in from US where he lives now, and he did okay too. So
Yeah, apparently he's got a mate over there, and he plays for their domestic comp a lot.
yep,
So yeah, I get it.
yep,
So
yep. Well, I think that's wrapped us up for our sports podcast this evening. Great chat, and I'm sure we'll have the senior citizen on next week. And thank you everyone for joining in the conversation on the Facebook page, watching our ugly mugs on YouTube, and listening to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we'll see all of you next week.
see you guys. Cheers.
Thanks, Caesar. Catch you. Cheers, Faf.
Cheers, mate.
Lovely.
Enjoy.